This video compares the older GX with the new GX Pro. Both generators are connected in the same way with a coil of 10s cable on the output shorted out. We're going to run a biofeedback on both. The settings of the biofeedbacks are the same. The older generator X has got the older version of software. Generator X Pro is on the right. In the blue box you can see the waveform of the environment noise. You'll notice that the waveform from the newer GX Pro is similar to the waveform of the environment. Now you can see the spectrum being displayed in the same blue frame. You can see the frequencies go up very high. If we change the range of the spectrum, you will see the frequencies go way beyond 100 megahertz, which is the capability of the spectrum analyzer which I'm using. You'll notice that the waveform of the older GX is not so sharp. It's more blocky and changes happen in steps. That's because the processor is not so fast and the associated electronics is also not so fast. Now the biofeedbacks are being started again. This time we are doing over a very broad frequency range up to 18 megahertz using a very large frequency step. You can see that the older GX has got a very different waveform to GX Pro. The waveform is more jaggedy. It's not as, the resolution is not so high. Now if we set the biofeedback to detect the minimum for both generators, you'll get the generators detecting the minimum point on the graph. All other settings we kept the same. And waiting for the biofeedback to start. There's the newer GX Pro starting first because it is a little bit faster. And there's the older GX. Again, it's jaggedy. Now notice that quite a few hits were reported on the GX Pro. That's because it's more sensitive to ever so slight fluctuations in the output signal, whereas GX is pretty coarse and only shows one hit. You can change that by increasing the threshold value, but then you'll be missing out on all the smaller hits, which are from small cells in your body, but in this case it's through environmental noise, being in an office environment. Okay, this is doing a biofeedback with 100 ohm terminating resistors on the output of the generator. You can see that GX Pro on the right, the graph is much straighter than the one on the left, which has got a curve in it. This shows that the components used in GX Pro aren't contributing as much to the shape of the waveform and the response to the frequencies as the older GX was. GX Pro does more work within the processor because the processors are much faster, they can handle the extra burden. So it's fewer discrete components and vastly more powerful computers within GX Pro that allow this. You can see the graph is much straighter